Hello friends, and welcome to today's crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful midi skirt. It's super beginner friendly, really good for any level of crochet artist, and it's also easily customizable in size and length. You could make it a midi, a maxi, a mini. It's super versatile. This skirt is perfect now that fall is coming up. I mean, autumn is like right around the corner, and this skirt would be so cute with some tights underneath, a jean vest, a jean jacket, and some boots. I cannot wait to see your guys' fall outfits with this skirt. So let's go and make it so we can have really cute skirts together and match and be adorable. You're of course going to need a yarn and a hook for this project. This is my first skirt that I did just to test out the pattern to see if it would work. And as you can see, it's adorable and it worked really well. And I didn't get to finish it because I ran out of yarn and had to order some, but at this point I knew the pattern would be working, so I'm gonna finish this one in a couple days when the yarn comes in. But doesn't it look so pretty? This is, you could technically, if you wanted a short skirt, this skirt could be a midi skirt, a mini skirt, a maxi skirt. You could just like stop at any point, truly. But we're gonna be making a midi skirt today. You could keep going and make a maxi skirt, which I love the versatility of it. And the yarn I'm using is this Red Heart Roll With It yarn in this really pretty purple and blue colorway. So first I'm going to start with a slip knot. And then I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I tightened up that last chain because we're going to be working in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each of these chains here. And the 6th one, why I chain 1 extra is because it's a little awkward to get into the first one. If you want a wider waistband, that's totally up to you. I just thought for this skirt that it would be better to have less of a bulky waistband. So I'm making a thinner one, just with 5 stitches going all the way around. But like I said, if you want it to be thicker, you can obviously do whatever you'd like to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is work into these stitches here. We're going to yarn over. We're going to do 5 half double crochets, 1 in every single stitch. So starting with this one. And then this is a half double crochet slowed down. You just yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and that's just a half double crochet. Our last one. So there we have row 1 completed. And then you chain 1, turn your work. And now we're going to be working in the back loops only. So now as you can see here, we have our V stitches. And now we're going to be working in the back loops of our V stitches. So this is our first stitch here. So we're going to be working in the back loops only to give this nice ribbed effect for the waistband. So we're just going to pick that back stitch there, that back loop, and we're going to half double crochet all the way down that row in the back loops only. And that's what it's looking like so far. Now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and now we're going to do the same thing but the other way, of course. Just in that back loop, we're going to put our half double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1, and then we turned our work, and now we're working again in the back loops only. And by the end of the row, you should have 5 stitches. If you have 6, like if you wanted your waistband to be a little wider, if you have 6, 7, 8, you know, whatever you wanted, but just make sure you have it consistently throughout the entire thing. Otherwise, it's going to be like wonky. So just make sure if you do 8 in the beginning, you're going to want 8 all the way through. Chain 1, turn your work. Half double crochet in that back loop there, this one right here. Chain 1, turn our work. I have 6 rows here. You want to make sure that you have like your phone out or a notepad out just to make sure you keep track of your stitch, of your row amount. But here I have my measuring tape, and whatever your waist size is, you're going to want to, it goes this way. And you're going to want to do your rows until you reach, let's just say your waist size is 30 inches. Okay, so if your waist size is 30 inches, then you're going to want to go a few inches smaller, like maybe go to 27. Technically, just like once you have a longer amount, just put it around your waist, because crochet really, really stretches. For my first one, I made mine like 24, and my waist size is like, you know, 28 and a half, 29. So I made it till I think like 24 because this yarn was really stretchy and it fits me perfectly. I've tried that on a few times and it fits me really, really well. But crochet is very stretchy and it loosens up over time. So just keep trying it on, because at this stage you can of course remove rows, but once you start adding to the skirt, you can't remove any rows. So just make sure that this is kind of a crucial part here. You can always make a waistband, and I can you can always make a sorry, what's that word, tie, like a tie for the waistband, to make it so you can make it tighter. But basically just try it on yourself and see where it fits on you. You don't want anything too tight. Too tight you can't really go back from, but too loose, I mean, we can always, you know, weave in a ribbon through there. We can crochet a tie for it. So honestly, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to do 49 rows for my waistband. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 49 rows, and then I'm gonna show you guys to see, like, look at how much we have a stretch here. Like, there's a lot of stretch. I'm gonna go ahead and do my 49 rows. That's what I did for the previous one, and we'll see if that works for this one too. Okay, so here are my 49 rows. So now, as you can see, it's measuring up to about the 23.5 mark, but as you can see, I can stretch it comfortably all the way to 29. Definitely is gonna be good enough for my waist. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be good with that, the 49 rows for me. So just make sure that, I already tried this on, like with my first one, that I made that one yesterday. And I already tried it on like at this point just to make sure that everything fits. So make sure you do that. And now what we're going to do is you're going to make sure it's not like twisted or anything and fold it in half. Just make sure everything's laying nice and flat. And now we're going to put the two ends together, and we're going to slip stitch them closed. So just insert your hook in the first stitch on one side and on the other. You can see I'm just going under those two stitches. And now I'm gonna go under, make sure you go under both of them. And then we're just slip stitching it. So make sure you have two on the hook, pull up a loop, pull through the loop on your hook. And then we have our waistband closed. Now that we are slip stitched in, I'm just going to take my waistband and fold it in half like this, and then I'm going to grab my measuring tape and I'm going to set it right here. And mine is 12 inches, as you can see. And now my seam is right here, and you want your seam to be right in the middle. So I'm gonna move it just a hair, because you want your seam to be right in the middle, because now we're going to be adding our stitch markers. I only have bobby pins because my stitch markers literally vanish into thin air. I have no idea where they go. We are going to be inserting our bobby pins into the side stitches for the hips, because we're going to increase in the hips going down for quite a few rows. So then we're just going to put our stitch markers in one of the stitches on the side, and then one on the other side, just so we know where to increase going forward. So now we are slip stitched in, and I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, then I'm going to turn my work. And now this is the trickier row to find, like which stitches to go into, but basically you just kind of pick. There's not like a rule on it, but you're just gonna want to make sure that you don't have too many. You don't want it too bulky, and you also don't want it too sparse. So just kind of in whichever one you see like that looks good, just keep going, whichever one looks available, basically. So I'm just gonna go all the way around doing that until I reach the stitch marker. The stitch that I'm using right now is double crochet instead of the half double crochet that we did for the waistband, and I'm just going to continue putting 1 double crochet in every available stitch that I see until I reach the stitch marker, and then we'll go over that together. Okay, I've reached my first stitch marker, so I'm going to take it out. So now we're just doing our increasing for the hips, and basically what that is we're going to add 1 double crochet to the stitch that the stitch marker was in, and then we're going to add a second one into the same stitch. So we have 2, because we want the hips to be wider, because my hip measurement is wider than my waist. So I'm going to want to do the increasing technically until I reach my hip measurement. So we're going to keep going for a little bit, and I'll explain it a little better as we go on. So now we have our 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and now I'm going to take my stitch marker and reinsert it into the first increased stitch, and then I'm going to keep going until I reach my next increase, which is this one over here. So I'm just going to keep going, and then we will get to that one in just a sec. We've reached our second stitch marker, so I just pulled that out, and now I'm going to do 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets in the same stitch. I'm going to put back my bobby pin, and then I'm just going to keep going until we reach the seam. So now we've reached our seam, and as you can see, we have our chain 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and we are just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, so insert through 2 of those loops, and slip stitch. So now we've finished row 1. I know that was a little bit trickier because of not knowing where to put the stitches, but from now on it's going to be so much easier, so simple. So now we are going to chain again, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work, and we are going to put 1 double crochet in all of these stitches. So we're just putting 1 double crochet in the top of the previous double crochet until we again reach our stitch markers, and then we will do our increase. Okay, so now we've reached our stitch marker. And we're going to increase in that stitch by putting 2 double crochets into it. So there's our increase, 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then I'm just putting my stitch marker back and continuing on. So I'm just continuing putting 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around until I reach my stitch markers. And then I will put 2 in the stitch that the stitch marker is in for my increase for the hips. Now we've reached the second stitch marker. And I'm going to put 2 double crochets into that stitch. And then I'm going to keep going till I reach the beginning of this row. So now we've reached the end of the row, and I'm going to, again like the previous row, slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, chain 1, 2, 3 again, turn my work, 1 double crochet in every stitch till you reach the stitch marker. We reached our stitch marker, so now we're going to increase 1, 2, of course mark that stitch, and then just continue on with normal pattern. We reached our second stitch marker, so you know what to do. 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Go ahead and mark it and continue going until you reach the seam again. Now we're just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, chain 1, 2, 3, turn our work. As you can see, towards the hips, it's starting to slowly flare out, which is what we want. So we're just going to keep going with this row, the same as the previous one. 1 double crochet in every stitch until you reach the first stitch marker. Once you reach the first stitch marker, you're going to put 2 double crochets into the stitch that the stitch marker is in for that hip increase. Then you're going to put the stitch marker back in the first stitch of the increase. Then you're going to continue doing 1 double crochet in every single stitch until you reach the second stitch marker. Remove it, add your 2 double crochets for the increase, reinsert your stitch marker, then you're going to double crochet until you reach the seam. Then you're going to slip stitch into the top of chain 3, then you're going to chain 3, and you're going to turn your work, and you're going to repeat this for as many rows as it takes to reach your hip measurement. And the reason that we turn our work, I'm going to show you real quick. On my first one, this is the back of the skirt, and this is the seam right here. And you see how it's very nice and straight? It wouldn't be straight if we didn't turn our work, because it would just kind of go like in a line like that, and I like it to be nice and straight. So that is why we turn our work, and I just like the look of it being nice and straight better. So I'm just going to complete this row, increasing in the hips, of course, like we've been doing, and then we're going to talk about at what point we're going to stop increasing for the hips. right after we finish up this row. So now I'm just gonna bring in my previous skirt that of course I have not yet finished, and I increased for 18 rows on mine. So this right here is my 18th row that I stopped increasing. And why I stopped is because my hip measurement is about 39 inches. And when we measure, it's 19. But of course it stretches, so it'll definitely fit me. I already tried it on and it fits me perfectly. But basically, essentially, you're going to increase until you get your hip measurement, or if you try it on and it fits nicely and you like that it's a little more snug, that's totally up to you. But you just, of course, keep trying it on, keep measuring it. So I'm just gonna do my 18 rows, repeating exactly what we've been doing on my purple one over there, and then we will meet back up after I am done with my increases, and after you're done with your hip increases, we can meet back up and talk about what we're going to do next. This is what we're looking like so far. It looks like a cute little mini skirt right now, but I am on, I think, row 13, I believe, so I only have a few more left. I'm back, and we have our 18 rows that I did for my increasing for the hips, and I'll just bring in my measuring tape here to measure. Just show you. I'm gonna scoot it so you can see. 19.5 inches. Look at us. Perfect. 19.5 inches is perfect, and of course has plenty of stretch. So now that I've done the 18 rows, I'm going to continue on, but I do not need to increase for the hips anymore, so I'm just going to take out my stitch markers since my hip measurement is good. So now comes the super easy part. All we have to do is just continue on doing 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. Then you reach this part here, you do your slip stitch, your chain 3, turn work, and keep repeating until you get to the length that you want. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn my work, and as you can see, the line for the back is nice and straight, and that's what I want. So now I am just going to continue with the pattern that we've been doing, except we don't have to worry about the stitch markers on the side because they are gone. Our hip measurement has been reached. Of course, it depends on your hip measurement of when you reach the amount, like how many rows, I mean. But as soon as you do reach it, you can measure that up, try it on, and be like, okay, this fits me great. And then once it does, you just take out those stitch markers and do the exact same pattern, except just not increasing in the hips anymore. So I'm just putting 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. I might make this one a maxi skirt, and then this one here, I might make the midi skirt, but we will see. There's so much versatility with this pattern. You can truly make any length of a skirt that you want. I reached my increase for the hips, and now I don't need to increase. I'm just putting 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. The length that you make your skirt is very customizable to your leg length. My leg length is pretty long. It is, of course, something that you need to size up to your own body to see what you like lengthwise. You can always add rows, you can always frog rows, but this pattern is so easy and so quick, and I have made both of these in I started that one yesterday and made it in an afternoon. So far, I just had run out of yarn, so I couldn't continue. It's always the worst, isn't it? When you run out of yarn literally in the middle of a project. It's very sad. But here we are starting another one. I'm gonna go back to the other one though, because unfortunately I also only have one of this one. So I was wrong in the beginning when I said that this yarn is coming in today. The one for that one is coming in today, and this yarn isn't coming in for a couple more days, so I have to wait on this one as soon as this ball is done. I'm just continuing along my skirt, and I'm going to keep doing this. 1 double crochet, reach the beginning chain 3, slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, And then you're going to chain 3 after that and turn your work and repeat. This pattern is just so nice for all skill levels like beginner, intermediate, advanced, and they're super fast and fun to work up. Again, I'm just going to continue with this pattern until I reach the length that I like, and then we'll meet back up towards the end and I'll show you how to finish it off. All right, so this is my first skirt that I started. I completed this one. This one has 51 rows, and that is good for my size of legs, my leg length, and it fits me really well as a midi skirt. The purple one here, the yarn still needs to come in, but once it does, I'm probably gonna make this one into a maxi skirt. But to finish it off, just super simple. Now I will show you how to finish the skirt. So you reach the amount of rows that fits you well for the length that you want. So you just slip stitch as usual, and rather than chaining 3, you're just going to chain 1, and then you're going to cut your yarn and pull out your hook, tighten it a bit, and that is it. I'm just going to weave in the ends really fast. And there is the finished midi skirt. I think it's so cute. I cannot wait to put it on. I already tried it on before I wove in the ends, but it is so pretty and the colors are so much fun. I love this color. I think this is the Red Heart Roll With It yarn in Catwalk color, and I just love it. It's very fairy-like and whimsical. And I hope you guys absolutely try this because it's super beginner friendly and very, very simple and quick to work up as well, and easy to bring with you in the car or to watch a movie. It's just really fun, really simple, and I think you guys would absolutely rock this pattern. So if you try it, let me know, tag me of course, and I'm gonna go try them on and show you guys how I wear them and show you what it looks like on. But I hope you guys have the most beautiful day, and I love you all so much. Thank you again for being here and watching and supporting, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Love you guys. Bye.